looks like Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira 2 will be going down pretty soon. That's what's being rumoured, that's what's being discussed, and that's what potentially has been booked for UFC 297 going down in Toronto, Canada in January 2024. Look, as we know, they were scheduled to fight on UFC 294. Okay, Charles Oliveira, as we know, real quick history, cuts his eye, has to pull out. Volkanovski steps in, gets knocked out in stunning fashion just 3 minutes into the fight. And Islam Makhachev, still the lightweight champion, but more importantly, established himself as the true pound-for-pound #1 fighter on the planet. Look, after the first fight with Volkanovski, even though Islam won, Volk was still pound-for-pound #1. But after that, after beating him twice and after finishing him in the first round via a vicious head kick, he's the pound-for-pound #1. Now, who's he going to fight? Dana White said the next person in line will still be Charles Oliveira. And Charles Oliveira was at the UFC event here last night. I'm in Sao Paulo still. I'm going to jump on a plane to New York very shortly. But Charles Oliveira was there. First of all, let me tell you, he was walking around. He looked like Mr. T. He had so much gold on him. I mean, championship lifestyle has been very, very kind to Charles Oliveira. He's got Lamborghinis and he was dripped in gold, as I said. But still, never mind any of that, okay? Justin Gaethje is out there. He's making a lot of noise. He wants to fight for the belt. Of course he does. He says he's going to refuse to fight unless it's the title fight. And Ali Abdelaziz, he wants that fight as well. Now, some people came out, they reported that the fight is kind of booked, it's kind of scheduled. So the UFC, Heidi Anjo, last night on the post-fight show, did an interview with Charles Oliveira. And Charles, he was like, no, I don't know about that. I don't know if it is booked. But he did say that he would be open to it. And if they want to do it in January, then they'll do it. Now, a lot of reporters, Ariel Helwani was one of them, saying that the fight is booked. But the UFC asked him, and Charles Oliveira said, yeah, there's nothing booked. But if it goes down, I'll be more than ready. Ali Abdelaziz, the manager of Islam Makhachev and the manager of Justin Gaethje, he came out and said, listen, this story is fake news. It's fake news. Ariel Helwani can't even get credentialed to a UFC event. So he's talking shit on Ariel Helwani, but also you got to remember he manages Justin Gaethje. So for him, that would be the perfect recipe, wouldn't it? Both of you fighters fighting in the main event, both making lots of money, and he's looking out for his guys. He's being a good manager. So what do we think? Look, listen, Charles Oliveira, Dana White said he wants to do it. Charles Oliveira was asked about it by the UFC last night, and Charles Oliveira said that he's open for it. And look, listen, Islam Makhachev, he's not going to be intimidated. He's not going to avoid him. And the fight was scheduled, and I would like to see it again. And if it goes down in January, that's just around the corner. And Justin Gaethje, he does deserve a shot. We haven't seen that matchup. It will be something fresh, but that's just around the corner. So, talking about Islam Makhachev, I mean, he's going up against Charles Oliveira again. Let's remember, he finished him the first time. Dropped him in the first round, second round, took him down, choked him out very, very quickly. Okay, and now, coming off the back of those two victories of Alexander Volkanovski, and certainly the second one, where he smoked him, he finished him with a head kick, and respect to Volk for stepping up and trying to be great. That's just going to make Islam Makhachev way more confident and even more dangerous. And he's going to believe in his striking even more. Listen, when you start connecting with people, when you land that left hook, when you land a head kick, when you hit someone, or when you throw something, you connect and you see that person go down. Now there's a real connection. Now you truly believe in your skills. As we know, his striking was getting better all the time. Now it's deadly. The wrestling is unbelievable. That's top notch, and the submission skills are there as well. So Islam Makhachev, as I said, the pound-for-pound #1, and he probably will. I don't know. It's not booked. It's not official, but it's been spoke about. He was even asked about it on the UFC post-fight show. If that's not a big indication, I don't know what is, but it's not official yet. So, UFC 294, I will say Oliveira versus Makhachev, probably the main event. Co-main event, I think it's Raquel Pennington fighting for the vacant bantamweight title. But, as you can see, I'm still here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I will be flying off to New York very, very shortly, as I said. The reason I'm here in Sao Paulo is because last night we had Jailton Almeida going up against Derek Lewis. A great night of fights. In the co-main event, Nicholas Dolby looked amazing. He had a tough fight against a new up-and-comer called Gabriel Bonfim, a very, very talented fighter. And Nicholas Dolby was just sensational. Had a tough opening round, but in the second round, walked him down, fought him tooth and nail, stood toe-to-toe, and finished him. And it really was a truly inspirational performance. But let's talk about the main event. Derek Lewis, the knockout king, the Black Beast, potentially the one-trick pony, right? Going up against Jailton Almeida. potentially a one-trick pony. A true clash of styles. Jailton Almeida's taken everybody down, used the double legs, used the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, and finished everybody. He took Derek Lewis down. It was either going to be Derek was going to knock him out or Jailton was going to take him down and choke him out. He got taken down, Lewis, very, very quickly. But he didn't get finished. For 5 rounds, Jailton Almeida led on top of him, had the mount position for most of the time. Now, it was a dominant performance, but I don't think it electrified all the viewers. And for Jailton Almeida, who's clearly very talented, right? A record of 20-2 now. So a very good record, dominant performances. Derek Lewis isn't an easy man to beat, but he didn't finish him. And he had plenty of opportunities to finish him. And referee Mark Goddard had to warn him about inactivity multiple times, 5 or 6 times throughout the fight, telling him that you've got to work. I don't think I've ever seen that in the UFC ever before. I honestly can't remember a time. Maybe it has happened, but not to my knowledge. So well done, Jailton Almeida. Derek Lewis, I mean, what's he going to do now? He's going to come back again. Everyone loves Derek Lewis. He's such a character. He's true to himself. He's absolutely hilarious, and he's got devastating power. And I thought he did himself proud, but still, enough about that. Well done to Jailton Almeida, not trying to rip on his performance at all. So, Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. Let's go back to that. What do we think about that? Do we think the rumours are true? Because Charles Oliveira, as I said, walking around like Mr. T, wearing a yellow suit, looking sharp as hell. And by the way, much bigger. I saw him at the elevator. We had a quick conversation. He just said hi real quick. He's way bigger than what I thought. He's a big lightweight, and so is Islam Makhachev. So Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira, that looks like it's going to go down. If it's being discussed, if Charles is being asked about it on the post-fight show, then it's probably only a matter of time. But I don't know anything. I haven't got an official stance from the UFC, but I, for one, would buy that. I want to see it. It was scheduled, and I think the world wants to see that as well. And this time, neutral territory for both men. Let's think about that, because it's going down in Toronto, okay? Charles is Brazilian, Islam is from Russia, Dagestan, and Abu Dhabi was kind of home territory for him, you know, but it doesn't really matter. When that octagon door shuts, it's just you and your opponent and the crowd. And it doesn't really matter about the crowd because they can't help you inside the octagon. So Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira, if it goes down, we've got to lean towards Islam Makhachev. But stay tuned, let's wait and see. And let's see how all this drama unfolds. Ariel Helwani tweeted, Ali Abdelaziz went back at him. They're talking tons of shit, said you can't even get credentialed. And this is probably just the beginning of a very interesting Twitter beef that's going to go down. Right, the Formula One Grand Prix is on here in Sao Paulo. I haven't got a ticket, so I won't be going to that, but I can hear the cars going around, so that's a little bit annoying. I would have loved to have gone to that. Going to go to an Irish pub, going to watch some football, going to have a couple of beers, then I'm going to get on the plane and fly to New York City for UFC 295. UFC 295, Tom Aspinall going up against Sergey Pavlovich, and the main event, as we know, Alex Pereira going up against Yuri Prohaska. That fight's going to be ridiculous, and I'm going to be dropping lots of content while I'm in New York, so try and check it out. Hope you're well, subscribe, ring the bell. What do you think about this matchup? Do you think it will materialize, and who do you think wins? As if I even need to ask. Everybody loves Islam. He's an incredible fighter, and more than likely, you're all going to say Islam, and you're probably right, but let's remember, every fight is different, and this is 2 human beings, so nothing is ever guaranteed in life or in the octagon. Subscribe and ring the bell.